welcome back to the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show. Happy you chose us to be part of your day just for a little bit. Growing potatoes. We're going to talk about that, go through some of the tips and techniques in order to have a successful potato crop. And there's more to potato growing than just throwing them in the ground and walking away.
Absolutely. But it is kind of that simple, but not. So they're not super hard to grow.
There's information that one needs to know in order to increase their odds of success.
So now there are because of selective breeding, there's over 5,000 different varieties of potatoes, but there's 7 main types. So this can be categorized by texture and uses. So there's russets, reds, yellows, whites, blues / purples, fingerlings, and petites, which are also known as new potatoes. So these all come with different characteristics. So some, like the russets, are usually typically good for baking, and then other ones are good for boiling, mashing, roasting. Like, again, the russets are good for baking, but then reds are good for boiling, salads, and then I think russets is good for potato salads, or no, the yellows.
And this is true, because if you try to take a potato that's not really designed for this and try to fry it, it falls apart and turns to mush.
Apart.
Yes, absolutely.
Or even like if you make a potato salad with something like a fingerling, fingerlings are a little bit less starchy in my experience, so they're going to fall apart. In the potato salad, you want a potato that's going to hold up to that cooking and mixing.
And got that chew and that texture, and that with the mayonnaise and the mustard and all that stuff, yeah.
And even like making they call them like smashed potatoes.
Right.
The fingerlings are good for that because they have that less starchy quality. And then the new potatoes, they kind of hold up when you cook them for a long time, like in a slow cooker. So yeah.
So you select the potato you want for the purpose that you intend to utilize it for. There's 3 categories of growing potatoes in the grow season here. There's early potatoes, that's early season. Early season potatoes take 60 to 90 days, 10 to 12 weeks. Second earlies or mid-season, those take 80 to 110 days. And your main crop, or what's considered late season potatoes, those are 110 to 130 plus days. Those are the whole summer. What we have done in our Zone 6 garden in the past is we will harvest garlic in July, last week in August, early portions of July, and that open up a vacancy, and we'll throw some potatoes in the ground. That is that early season.
Like the 70 to 90.
Yeah, the 60 to 90 day, and harvest it right before frost, and we don't get the massive harvest that you would early, but you get a harvest, and it's worth utilizing those potatoes. And we get this question a lot, and you may be thinking, well, I've got potatoes that sprout in the house that I bought from the grocery store. Can I use that? Yes, you can. Again, you just want to try to know, dig around on the label and see if you can kind of figure out what the variety is, and then do a search to go, okay, where does this fall in? Is this 60 to 90, 80 to 110, or 110 plus?
I don't know what potatoes we buy. I mean, I know I buy a lot of red potatoes, but it seems like
within a week
they're sprouting.
Now, you can eat a sprouted potato. You want to keep it in a darker area just after you buy it, whether you're planting it or you're going to eat it, because sunlight exposed to skin of potato has a slight green tint, which can be irritable to certain sensitive stomachs, and is considered poisonous in some. It's considered poisonous. You're not supposed to eat potatoes that have green skins, but you can peel that skin off deep enough until you get to the actual meat of the potato and utilize the potato for that.
Right. And so the reason typically why I buy the red potatoes is, 1, our local convenience store has a really good price on them. And then 2, when we are camping, we do a lot of pan cooking of the red potatoes, and they hold up well for that.
When to plant your potatoes. Now, this is based on your frost date, your area. You want to plant your potatoes 2 to 4 weeks before your last average frost date. You can find that by going to your favorite search engine and typing in last average frost date, insert your zip code, and it will tell you. Once the soil is cool, It can be worked and is cool, but not soggy or wet. And when the soil temperature at root zone, where the potato is going to sit and start growing, is at least 50 degrees Fahrenheit. You can tell the temperature. You take a shovel or a trowel and dig down 3 to 5 inches and use a digital meat thermometer. That'll give you the temperature. And you don't want to go any colder, due to the fact that if it gets, you got a couple of days and the soil's warm and it's 50 degrees, you want to look at your long range forecast. Is the temperature minimum going to stay above 50 degrees Fahrenheit for the prolonged future? Because that's going to keep the soil warm and allow these potatoes to grow at root zone. You want to test that out. On the other side, if you're in an area where it gets super warm during the summer and your soil exceeds 85 degrees Fahrenheit, which is warm to get soil that hot, that's like desert temperature, your potatoes are going to shut down. Now, if you plant your potatoes too soon and they begin to sprout, and the frost kills the tops. That's not necessarily detrimental. The tops will grow back, but it will set your potatoes back some. Now, how do we plant our potatoes? Some people, it's traditional trench and hill method. You dig a trench, an inch or two below soil, plant your potatoes, and then you hill them up. The hilling prevents the soil from the sunlight from hitting the potato.
Right.
And changing to that green color.
You don't have to hill them up.
No.
You can just plant them deep.
Yes.
And so what you want to do is when you are ready to prepare the potatoes or plant the potatoes,
yes.
You want to, if you're using sprouted potatoes from the store, if it's a larger potato, you want to cut it up. If there's like multiple sprouts, you might want to cut the potato in half. You just want to make sure, or maybe even in quarters, you just want to make sure that whatever you're planting is about the size of a chicken egg.
Yes.
A large chicken egg. And then you go ahead and you can plant them. You want to let them kind of cure. So you would want to do the night before. So that way the exposed part gets like the skin on it.
Scab.
There you go. So that is what you want to do when you go ahead and are ready to plant the potatoes. If you buy seed potatoes, they are good to go. They will, even if they don't have sprouts, they will grow. That's their purpose, is to grow as seed potatoes. So you want to make sure you inspect any potatoes you are going to grow, especially for any sort of rot, because if they're rotting, that means that they're rotting. They're going to rot in the ground.
Yeah,
right.
So you're going to have compost.
You might want to cut out a rotting part.
You can also rub powdered sulfur or dip them in raw honey also on the scab if you're going to plant them like today, and you don't want to wait that couple of hours or overnight to begin that scabbing process. And all that scabbing process in the sulfur and the honey, it's to prevent worms and stuff from potentially getting in there and eating out that potato. Now, you talked about dividing the potato up if it's large. If you don't want to divide the potato up, you can throw it in the ground and plant it as is. If you want to divide it up, you're gonna get a few more potatoes chunks for that planting area. Universities have done studies, and either way produces the same amount of potatoes. The only advantage to the cutting of the potato is you get more potatoes.
Yeah.
You get more potato plants, right?
And who doesn't want more potatoes? I certainly like more potatoes. So yeah, you want to cure
Potato
them.
monster.
Potato monster. And then while they're curing, you want to keep them in a cool, dark place. While you're waiting for to plant them.
Yeah.
Keep them in a cool, dark place. And then you also, like we talked about the scab, you want to make sure, I don't know if we talked about this, but full sun. You want to look for full sun.
When planting them, yep.
And then also we talked about the different lengths of time and how long that might take up to use that spot. So it is, for the most part, kind of an all summer thing. So keep that in mind as well. What
you want your soil to be is a good, loose, well-draining, slightly acidic, but doesn't hurt the overall production of the plant. Even if you're at a 7, you're okay. With plenty of compost or well-rotted manure, not killer compost. Check out past episodes to learn about that, or do a search on that. Plus an all-balanced fertilizer, 5-10-10, a 5-5-5, something NPK, something in that realm. Avoid fresh manure.
Keep them watered.
Keep them watered. Avoid fresh manure, as that will burn the plants. So, again, you can heal them, or what we've always done is we plant them about 6 inches deep, especially in a container or a grow bag. Cover them, walk away. We mulch them. You can use pine straw, chemical-free, seed-free grass clippings. If you have leaves left over, straw, oat straw, barley straw, wheat straw, all is a good mulch in order to hold the moisture in and suppress some of the weeds. It's not a guarantee, but it will help.
What's straw?
Wheat straw.
Oh.
I grew up on a wheat farm, so it's just
called it straw?
Yeah, it's just straw.
Oh, okay.
But there's so many other variations of straw. Straw is the stalk of the crop that is being grown. Hay is the grass that is being grown for the consumption, for animal consumption. So when to harvest these potatoes? Typically, a minimum of 10 weeks. I mean, it's based on early, mid, or long season potatoes. But typically 10 weeks, you're going to see the potato grow up and begin to start to die back. Once that potato plant begins to die back, and that's the importance of knowing what type of potato you have, whether you've bought it for the purpose of a seed potato or a store-bought one that is sprouting, so you know when is that duration of, okay, it takes 90 days, we're at 85, the plant's starting to die back, we're good to go. Once the plant starts dying back, it's okay to go ahead and dig it up. Leaving it in the ground until the plant completely dies back is a gamble because it can rain, it can start rotting, insects can get a hold of it, weeds can grow up and you can forget where they're at, and then they resprout next year. A whole lot of things going on there, and you want to use a garden fork. A garden fork is a hard tine.
It's a hard tine, usually 4, maybe 5 prongs. It's about the same.
Tines, I think is what.
Tines.
Yeah.
It's about the same size as like a garden shovel. It's not super wide or super huge. Yeah,
it's not a hay fork.
It's got thick tines.
Yeah.
And so this helps you dig up your potatoes because you're less likely to stab them, cut them in half. If you can use a garden shovel, that's not a problem, but you might stab a couple potatoes. It's less likely with the garden fork. And harvesting is so fun. It's like a little under the ground garden treasure hunt because you don't know how many potatoes you're going to get.
Can be good or disappointing.
Right. And so you just go ahead, you take your fork, you loosen them up, and you just start digging them out.
Some plants will put on seed pods. These are true seed potatoes. In that little tomato-looking like thing that's hanging from it, it is poisonous. Don't eat it. Some people actually take and try to grow real, actual potatoes from that. And then some potatoes will flower, and that's also an indication where the potato has reached about the mature state that is going to grow. To store your potatoes, you want to cure them first, keeping them cool between 45 and 50 degrees in a dark place, slightly humid. Like, certain areas are better than this, like a basement or a cellar. People don't have cellars that much. In a breathable container, paper bag or basket, brushing off the dirt but not washing them, and keeping them away from onions to preserve them from sprouting and spoiling, and they'll keep for months. So there you go. Just a little bit. If you want to find more out about growing potatoes, you can go to our parent website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, and click on the search bar up at the top and type in growing potatoes, and we've got a lot of videos on that. If you want to keep the mud outside instead of inside your house, we've got a product for you that's made in the USA.
This will benefit you after you dig potatoes up. So Scrusher, the original boot and shoe cleaner, it is basically a brush attached to a base to clean your shoes and boots that you would keep maybe outside your front door, outside a shed, whatever it may be. And Scrusher has some great different models. They have the deluxe, they have the regular model, and then they have the big boot model. And they even have things where you can get a personalized base so that maybe
your initials or a deer or a tomato,
name, something like that. Whatever kind of makes sense for.
And these can be fastened to a deck, patio, porch, a step. You can mount it in whatever you want, but keep it from moving around.
Right. They have all sorts of models out there for you. It's just a shoe brush station that it is a weather-resistant steel frame. It's black UV powder coated so that it's good for year-round use. And you just basically put your shoe in there. You don't have to take it off. Put your shoe in there quick, in and out. It'll brush all that dirt, mud, slush for any type of shoe. And it's outdoor boot cleaner design. You can find more information and all their models at scrusher.com. That's SCRUSHER.com. And you can use the code NOMOREDIRT5 to get 5% off and free shipping at checkout.